So what we're doing is getting our fire started here for the smoker without any chemicals. Just a little butane torch and regular charcoal. This is not matchlight or anything like that. It's good old regular Kingston. And this will help our food have a natural charcoal taste without all that chemical odor and aroma. So as you can see here, I've got a fire retardant protectant metal, not just any metal, but fire retardant on my deck. And then that way we can also be practicing fire safety. So I'm just going around where some of these openings are in the chimney starter and making sure I'm getting an even lit coverage. And these will come up to a flame real soon. Usually 10 to 15 minutes.
Stop talking about.
So I've given the chimney starter a shake or two, and as you can see, my coals are smoldering now. I'm gonna give it another shake. That way, just moves the charcoal around in there so the lit charcoal touches some that weren't lit. Oh, we got a runaway. This is why having a flame retardant protectant on your deck is important. But as you can see, we're really starting to smolder here, and this will be a roaring flame maybe in about 5 or 10 more minutes, so we'll check back in on it then. All right, we've got a rolling flame now, it looks like, in here. It's a little smoky, but I'm gonna try to make it so you guys can see that flame? That, my people, is a fire that's ready for the smoker. So we're just gonna make sure some of these coals get mixed around good. Got another runaway. And let's make sure that we get an even light. So a couple more minutes like that, and we'll be ready to go on to the pit. And what I'm doing today with my pit, you might hear this referred to as the Minions method. I've got some lit charcoal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that over top of this unlit charcoal. And then once I get my lit charcoal in the pit, I've got some wood. I'm doing a jerk smoke today, so we're going to use authentic pimento wood, and we'll put the wood on top. I've seen some videos of people out here putting the wood in the chimney and lighting the wood with the chimney. No shots fired, but that's a waste of your wood, because your wood's going to be all burned up before you put your food on. You want the wood to smoke once your food is on. And now in my smoker, because I've got the water receptacle here, it's a bullet style smoker. I haven't upgraded my smoker yet. That's another conversation. But in there you could see, well, let me show you again, I've got some authentic pimento leaves as well, because an official jerk, you've got to use pimento wood for your smoke fuel, and then you've also got to have some leaves in your water container. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my charcoal into the pit over top of these unlit charcoal, and then what we're going to do is get our wood and then our pork butts that have been jerked in the fridge for 24 hours. All right, so as you can see, my charcoal has come up to temp. I already loaded it in the pit and put the smoker on top just to keep the flame down. So I'm going to try to be quick and get my smoker loaded with my jerked pork butts over here in the smoker. So let's see, this one looks like the biggest one, so I'm going to put this one on the bottom, fat side up to start. My other grill grate. And then I'm going to get this one. Looks a little smaller. Turn it that way. That way they block up the air a little differently. Take my gloves off. Alright, put my top on. Make sure everything's nice and tight. And now I've got some soaked, not smoked, pimento wood. Now I prefer chunks, but I could only get chips to start with my first order. So I'm gonna put some of these chips over here. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna reach across the pit. My multi-tool here, I like this tool for moving charcoal around, not picking up food. Since I don't really grill, I'm smoking. I don't really need that as a grill tool, but it's great for adjusting your charcoal. I'm gonna get more of this wood sort of spread out here, and this is just gonna add to the natural wood charcoal that I've got. The reason why I like chunks is because they don't fall through the cracks on your charcoal as much. I'm just trying to get a nice little even spread. And my flame here is getting a little hot, so I'm going to use the bowl to get the rest of these out. Now remember to soak, I keep saying smoke. Remember to soak your chips so they don't just burn right off. Alright. Now that I got my pimento wood smoke going, I'll put that smoker top back on the pit. Make sure I got a good seal. And now you can see we've got smoke, even more smoke than when it was just the charcoal just roaring off of that smoker. So with the minion method of the unlit charcoal at the bottom of my pit, that I hope to get about an extra hour to 2 hours of cook time, and this way I should be able to get probably about I should be able to get about 5 to 6 hours on the smoker altogether with these pork butts. We'll check back in maybe in 2 hours. That way I can spritz and flip. All right, so it's been about 2 hours. Let's see. Yep, about 2 hours and 20 minutes since we did anything with this. As you can see, we got a nice bark going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to lift my meat out, and I'm going to flip these butts. So come over in here and look at this. So all right, so I started out with the calf up on that pork butt, and I'm going to flip it and put the fat end down and continue to smoke. All right, while we got it open, just get some, this is nothing but plain water here. Just spray a little bit of water on there just to keep it a little moist. In fact, I'm not going to spray, I'm going to stream it. There we go. Yeah, nice. It's like a nice liver coating of water. That'll help keep it moist. Okay. And I'm going to put this piece back on. And then I'm going to flip it. This piece, I'm going to do the same. Spray with a little bit of water just to keep that moisture. We are almost done. We're going to put this top back on so those coals don't get too hot, because we want to do this low and slow, so we don't want that fire to kick up too hot. Alright, so now we should be good. I checked the charcoal earlier. We should be good for about 2 more hours before we have to check on it again. At that point, maybe what I'll do is, depending on how it looks, at that point it's probably will be a good time to wrap these so that they don't dry out. All right, thanks. All right, so I'm out to check on my pit, not my food, not the meat. I need to kick these charcoals around a little bit, make sure I get the additional life out of them that I need. This smoker right here doesn't have a really good way to do it without removing the food, so I'm just going to take the food off for a hot second, kick these coals around, get some of that ash off. Should be getting about another hour to an hour and a half with these coals out of there. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to put a second batch of the pimento wood. Since I flipped the meat, I'm going to put a second batch of the pimento wood on the charcoal again, on just while the non-fat side is up, while the meat side is up. So, these coals are almost, not quite gone. I'm still getting a little singe on my hand, so that's how I know that they're good. I'm just trying to get some of this ash off of here. Wood is here. Just gonna swing that right on top. What I could do at this point, and I might do it, is also, I think I need a little more cook time than the 5 hours. I could also just get another batch of charcoal going in the chimney, and I may actually do that. That way, I'll make sure I get a nice full cook. Because with pork butt, you want to get it probably to about 195 degrees internal temp. Maybe even 201 if you like your pulled pork softer, on the softer side. So I'm gonna let that fire up. And now you see we got a little bit of more of that smoke coming in again. That's that pimento wood. By soaking it, you keep it from burning off right away, like dry wood, right? You want to let it soak and get a little bit of moisture so it doesn't burn off. All right, we're gonna get some more charcoal in the starter. I'm not gonna film that because you've seen what that looks like, although that is fun for me. But I'm gonna put probably about a half a canister of charcoal in here, and I'm just gonna add that right on top and around the sides to that little mound that I just built up. And that'll be sort of just to make sure my cook gets through to the finish line. And at that point, you know, what I usually do is, because I don't believe in wasting charcoal or smoke, maybe we'll throw on some hot dogs or something for the kids and let them get a little smoked hot dogs again. They like that. Hot dogs, bologna, right? You can throw anything on when you've got that little 30-minute window of cook time left with your charcoal. So, thanks. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, because the pimento wood that I put on earlier has pretty much smoked off, and it's been a total of about 5 hours. I added some charcoal earlier off camera, but it's been about 5 hours because that original charcoal is all cooked through basically. So I got a new batch of charcoal on here to try to get my cook over the finish line of 195 to 201 degrees. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the smoker off the pit, let the charcoal that I added, like I said, off camera a while ago, about an hour ago or so, let that flame up and get hot again. I'm gonna wrap my pork butts in butcher paper, and I'm gonna put them back on the smoker and put the smoker back on the pit. And that's gonna probably be the last of what I do until, like I said, this hopefully gets to the finish line. So let me do this. Use my multi-tool here. I know it's a spatula, but I call it my multi-tool because it does a lot of stuff, including like this. It gets my food off. So I'll get my butcher paper here. Later. I don't need that. Don't worry, kids. Okay, so what you want to do is make sure you've got enough room. So wrap it like so. And fold that over. Fold that over. And flip. And we're going to keep doing that. So now our top is down because we want the fat side to stay up. So you got to remember, fat's down. Fat is up again. So you really want to finish your wrap. You want to finish your wrap usually with the fat side of the meat up. So then this goes back in the pit. Notice here I've got heat resistant gloves this time instead of the ones I had earlier, the latex gloves, because I need to protect my hands from the heat. That's my fat side up. Look at that. Look at that. that's starting to render. So I'm gonna hand this to my off-camera assistant, Malia. Put that down over there for Daddy. I said off camera, that means you don't have to film her. All right. Slide this back a little bit. Ooh, fat's just coming off here. That fat's gonna mix in real nice with the meat when we shred this pulled pork. And so again, you just wanna fold the corners like that. So now my fat side is down, remember? And we just come here and you keep doing that. So fold your corners. Try to keep your corners tight. Because what you really are doing is you're actually steaming the meat when you wrap it. If this were beef, you might put some beef broth in here or something like that. But with pork, now my fat side is up. And see how I can round this off again. Get a little bit. I'm just gonna have to be like that, I guess. Maybe I'll just tuck that in there like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's the main thing, is you definitely want to keep a good seal. So that'll press down on that. All right, let's check out my charcoal. So like I said, about an hour ago, I added some more charcoal to the charcoal that was in here previously when I first started. And so now you can see you're looking at a full pit now of charcoal, so things look good here. Just kicking it around, getting the ash off, making sure you get basically the full life out of your briquette. Some other pits have different mechanisms to allow you to do this without having to take the food off, or, you know, in this case, burn your hand a little bit. But this is what I've got, so this is how I do it. So you just let those sit like that a little bit. Put this top back on. Get this back on the pit. Okay. All right, so now we'll probably check back, I don't know, maybe 2-3 hours, and our cook will probably be done. Probably have a little bit of charcoal left, and maybe we'll throw on some hot dogs. I got some hot dogs when we ran to the store earlier, so we'll probably put some hot dogs on there, and we'll just let the hot dogs stay on till the coals die. All right, thank you. All right, so I did my smoke. Pretty much done now. Just need to shred this pork up. We had about, let's see, I'm looking at the clock. We had about 8 hours of smoke on the smoker. Total, it's about 5 hours unwrapped and then another 3 wrapped. So I'm gonna take one of these bad boys out and put them into my container. Lots of juice, even though butcher paper is a good conduit for steaming this meat. It does breathe, so if you put it in butcher paper, you just want to understand that it's just gonna, you know, it's gonna let the meat breathe but keep some of the moisture in. So I'm gonna drop this in here, and there we go. Okay, let some of that juice drip out in there, because that's gonna be good stuff right there once we get this pork pulled. Then what you do is you're gonna see where the bone is. So I see where the bone is. Now I'm gonna get my meat claws, and I'm just gonna start shredding. This is just goodness right here. I'm gonna shred all around this bone here. I usually do, one direction, and I come back and go in the opposite direction with my shred. And I like pulled pork with a little bit of a thick consistency. So I'm gonna pull, and I'm gonna go back against the other way. Get some of this meat back up here and shred a little more. And so now I'm down to the bone. That meat's just coming right off. I'm gonna take it, pick it up by the bone. I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna shred this side a little bit just so I can be working on both. Now, I'm not going to do this whole shred, but I am going to get some shredded to a point where I can do a little bit of a taste test. And this is just literally coming right off the bone. And that's how you know you got a good cook in. And you turn it and come this way. Here, see that bone? Oops. Luckily my counter is nice and cleaned, so I can drop that back in here. Let's see. So now I can just pull the meat right off of this bone. Don't be afraid to get dirty. This pulled pork is supposed to be fun. And now that I got that bone removed, again, I'm not going to video the whole shred, but you get the idea here. There's a nice big piece in the middle there still that needs to be shredded, but I'm gonna do a real quick taste test. Because this is the first time I've done a jerked pork butt, and I did two. So now I'm gonna ask my cameraman to look at this meat right here. See this? See that? So now I'm gonna taste it. And that definitely passed the taste test. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to run over to my refrigerator in a minute off camera, and I'm going to get a little, I'm going to show you what I'm going to use to finish the pull. And this other pork butt, what I'm going to do with it, is we're going to pull it and we're going to vacuum seal it. But go. So here we have our reggae table sauce. So we're gonna add this, although the meat definitely has good flavor. My hands are greasy. I'm gonna have to clean this bottle off when I'm done. Just add a little bit in here just to show y'all what the final product is gonna look like when we're done. Just a little bit, not all of it right now. Alright, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this part right in here a little bit. So adding a little bit of sauce is kind of like a regular pulled pork, except this is jerked. So instead of just barbecue sauce, we're going to use a little bit of reggae table sauce. That's what that is. I'm not advertising that, but now we're going to grab a little piece here that's got the sauce on it and try that. Oh yeah, that's definitely quality product right there. So hope you've enjoyed your time watching my little video, and maybe you learned a little bit about cooking pork butt bone in, and I thank you very much. All right, this is the last video of my jerked pork butt smoke. Just want to show you what the final product looks like once everything is all sauced. I'm just gonna grab a little piece here. See that? And I'm gonna get one more taste. It's lightly sauced. I don't like heavy sauce on my food. Tastes a little bit from this other pork butt, not because it tastes different, but just because, hey, I want another taste. All right, I like the final product. My kids who've been helping me shred here, they like the final product, so I'm gonna call this one a success. And again, thank you for your time, and hopefully I will find time to put more videos out, and hopefully you like them. Thanks.